Let's talk about the timeline panel. Inside the timeline panel will be the timelines of the videos that you're going to put together. They're not called timelines though. The panel is called timelines. The actual portions of video and audio that we're going to put together are called sequences, and this is why it says no sequences, because there's nothing here. So there's a couple of different ways that you can make sequences. One of them is very easy. It's to take one of your videos that you're going to use in here and make sure it's a video that's been recorded at your main settings. So make sure, if you're set at 1080 30p for the majority of your video, but you maybe accidentally or because you wanted to use slow-mo, recorded something at 60p, make sure you use the one that represents the majority of how your video clips were recorded. So for this, we're using the promo project files from the book. It's any one of these. So I'm just going to grab one and I'm going to take it and drop it over here. And so now it's made a sequence, and it named a sequence after the file that I used to create it. Just for fun, to make sure that we keep everything organized, let's make a new bin by clicking on the new bin button, and we're going to call it sequences. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take that sequence in here that we made that showed up in the video bin and put it in the sequence bin. This is just to help us keep everything sorted and straightened. And we probably don't want our sequence to be named after that file, so let's change it to part 1 or whatever you want, sequence 1, or if you want to you have a special name like, whatever. It doesn't really matter, just so you know what it means. And there we go. Let's make another sequence in another way. So that way we just drop the file on there. Another way to make a sequence is to say new sequence or Control Command N. And when we do this, it gives us the opportunity to select the presets for that sequence. And usually you want to pick one that matches however you shot it. So it just kind of depends on what you did. There's a lot of them in here, as you can see. And so you might get it wrong, but that's okay. It's okay to get it wrong. So let's pick one. I'm going to pick this. 1080p 30. I know that's wrong because I know that these clips, just because I just know this, the clips that we're using from the book were recorded at 720. But we're going to pick a sequence that's incorrect. I'm going to show you how it doesn't really matter what you pick. We're going to go ahead and name it. So let's name this part 2. So we have a part 1. And it again created it in the wrong place, but I can drag it up and stick it in the sequences, so now it's nice and organized. And I'm on part 2. I know it's part 2 because right there. And now I'm going to go and put some of my video on there. So I'm going to use the same exact file. That doesn't matter. I'm going to use another one. It's still the same. If you roll over them, you can see it'll tell you what it is. It tells us this one is 1280 by 720, which means it's a 720p file. And I'm going to drag it over here. And I know it's not the right size, but look what happens. Premiere is smart enough to say, hey, that clip doesn't match what you told me when you made the sequence. Do you want me to fix the sequence, or do you want to leave it? Usually you want to fix it, unless you know that the file you just threw in there was not the normal setting for most of your video. You will want to fix it. So go ahead and say change sequence settings, and it will fix it for you, and there you go. All right, so those are the two main ways to create a sequence in Premiere Pro.